Welcome to Smart Vision, where we dive into history and explore the events that shaped our world. What happens when a group of colonies says no to the world's most powerful empire? This is the story of rebellion, bravery, betrayal, and how 13 scattered colonies came together to birth a nation. This is the American Revolution. In the mid-1700s, the American colonies were booming. 13 British colonies stretched along the eastern seaboard of North America. They traded, farmed, and lived under British rule. But that rule came with strings attached: taxes, restrictions, and no real voice in Parliament. Sound unfair? The colonists thought so too. Then came the turning point: the French and Indian War. Britain won, but the war was expensive. So, who pays the bill? The colonists. The British Parliament passed laws like the Stamp Act, 1765, and the Townshend Acts, 1767. Taxes on paper, tea, glass, and more. The colonists had a rallying cry: no taxation without representation. But Britain wasn't listening. Things started heating up fast. In 1770, the Boston Massacre left 5 colonists dead. Then, in 1773, colonists dumped an entire shipment of British tea into Boston Harbor, known as the Boston Tea Party. Britain clapped back hard with the Intolerable Acts, closing Boston's port and sending in more troops. That's when the colonies realized this wasn't just about tea. It was about freedom. By April 1775, war was inevitable. British troops marched to Lexington and Concord, aiming to seize weapons. But colonial militias were ready. The shot heard round the world was fired, and the Revolutionary War had begun. The colonies formed the Continental Army, led by none other than George Washington. At the same time, they tried one last time for peace with the Olive Branch Petition, but King George III rejected it. July 4th, 1776, the day everything changed. The Declaration of Independence, written mainly by Thomas Jefferson, was adopted by the Second Continental Congress. It boldly stated that all men are created equal, and that people have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The message to Britain was loud and clear: we're not your colonies anymore. We're the United States of America. The war wasn't easy. Washington's army struggled with harsh winters, especially at Valley Forge. Supplies were low, morale even lower. But the tide turned with help from unlikely allies. France, led by figures like Lafayette, sent troops, money, and ships. Spain and the Dutch also pitched in, not because they loved America, but because they hated Britain. Then came the decisive blow: the Battle of Yorktown in 1781. Washington's forces, backed by French troops and navy, surrounded British General Cornwallis. He surrendered. The war was essentially over. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed. Britain recognized the independence of the United States. What started as a tax protest had turned into a full-scale revolution. And against all odds, the colonists won. But the real challenge was just beginning. How do you build a country from scratch? The American Revolution wasn't just a war. It was an idea that people should govern themselves. It inspired revolutions around the world and laid the foundation for the modern democratic world. So the next time you hear the words "we the people" or "land of the free," remember, it all started with tea, taxes, and a dream of liberty.